Hi everyone, Darren here, and on today's episode I will be talking about how to play the French heavy tank, the Tier 10 AMX 50B. The 50B, like the rest of the French autoloaders, is primarily made out of paper and becomes a primary target for high damage dealing guns. The 50B is still dangerous, however, in the right hands, but to the average player it is easy to struggle to play the tank effectively and perform well in it. So today, we'll be looking at the unique armor profile of the tank, followed by how to play and set up the tank, and then we will close with a video of the 50B in action. So let's get started. Now the 50B is for the most part a paper tank that artillery likes to feast on. As you can see by the clip I have here, as well as this photo looking down onto the top of the AMX 50B, armor is practically non-existent everywhere on the tank, with the exception of the front hull, which is capable of bouncing shots that are auto-aimed or rushed. This is in part of the fact that the hull is well-rounded, as well as that because the turret is practically paper, aside from the front hull, all parts of the tank are thinly armored. I would also like to mention to not let the 121mm of turret armor deceive you, as the turret is actually very easy to pen and is often focused because no one aims at the hull. Now looking at the gun itself provides 10 degrees of gun depression, which you can take advantage of in most situations, especially on the bigger ridgeline filled maps. So don't be scared of approaching a ridge and dumping a couple of rounds, only a couple rounds, into whatever you can. The downfall to this autoloader is its intra-clip reload at 2.5 seconds. This means that 4 rounds will take roughly 7.5 to 8 seconds to empty your clip entirely, which is actually more than enough time for numerous tanks or anyone that is looking at you to turn around and punish you for sticking your nose out far too long than necessary, hence only to shoot as many as you can before you're noticed. Now the speed of the 50B is a maximum of 65 kilometers per hour forward with 20 kilometers an hour in reverse. This means that it can easily run ahead of the team and get itself into trouble if alone, but it also means that it can keep up with faster mediums and lights and function as a support tank for them. Now, as stated in previous videos, the autoloaders are support tanks that are incapable of holding their own without support from other tanks. The best way to play the AMX 50B is to use your speed to get into positions early in the game to catch people unaware and get some early shots. Once the majority of your team has arrived, move to a second line support position and wait for openings in the flanks where there are multiple distracted or low health tanks, so that you may unload most, if not all, of your clip with little to no damage taken on your part. Another tactic is to shoot targets in their front drive wheel, preferably when their guns are behind cover and unable to shoot back at you, which tracks the target and deals damage. Plus, with the target being tracked, this means that anyone else that shoots the tank will provide you with assistance damage or also keep the tank tracked while you are reloading. Now, for equipment on the tank, as you can see by the photo here that I have, because the gun has a horrible aim time at 3 seconds base and an intra-clip reload at 2.5 seconds, I strongly recommend using the following equipment to decrease that aim time as much as possible, as well as boost on-the-move accuracy: vertical stabilizer, vents, and gun lane drive. There is another equipment setup that you can choose from. If you feel that vision is very necessary, you can instead use vertical stabilizer, vents, and swap gun lane drive for optics. Now, consumables overall is, again, your choice as what you decide to run, but I run a small repair kit and first aid kit, as well as a small fire extinguisher. With a chance of fire at 15%, you could get away with not running a fire extinguisher and instead using food, but it is, again, entirely up to you. Now, as for ammunition, I run a loadout of 36 AP, 20 AP CR, and 0 high explosive. Sure, you could load a clip or two of HE for lightly armored tanks, but because of the long reload time, you run the risk of being caught with your pants down if anything but a lightly armored tank rolls in front of you, and you'll even be in a tighter spot if you're caught mid-reload. Now, looking at setting up your crew, as usual, the first 3 skills should be Sixth Sense, Brothers in Arms, and Repairs. Again, it is already covered in a previous video. I recommend training Snapshot and Smooth Ride as your 4th and 5th skills, but if you plan on running food instead of a fire extinguisher, I instead recommend on training Firefighting as your 4th skill, with Snapshot Smooth Ride being your 5th and 6th skills. After which, whatever skills you decide to train up is up to you. That pretty much covers how to set up the AMX 50B. Now let's take a look at some gameplay. Now, here we are on Pilsen. I'm in the north spawn here, and instead of heading left to the hilly portion of the map to use my gun depression, I'm actually going to go and head down the 3-4 line to try and get some early shots on the heavy tanks that are undoubtedly going to try and brawl in the 1-4 line area of the map. As you can see here, there's a 215B that's going to get caught on fire by me. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I used my 65 kilometers an hour speed to get to this position early enough to get shots on the tank. Now, I try and put a shot into the 60 TP. It doesn't work. I don't push out again because the 60 TP is expecting me to pop out again, and he's waiting for me. So he will undoubtedly be aimed in when I will still be aiming in myself, which in that situation he would obviously win. I'm sitting back, I'm waiting for an opportunity to arise. The 215B is there. I noticed he fired, so I peek out fast enough to just put in one shot. It was a snapshot, and luckily it went in. He backs up. The 60 TP I noticed from his shot, so I push out even more, get a shot in his lower plate since he can't shoot back at me because he's reloading. At that point, I'm now stuck reloading my whole clip. You notice there that I threw out the I'm reloading communication there. Part of playing an autoloader is communicating with your team that you are reloading, because numerous times I have been in games to where I have a autoloader near me and I can't and I don't know when he is if he's up or not. Now this is a tactic that I did mention right here, is tracking the tank. Unfortunately, he was out too forward for him to have his turret stuck behind cover, but he was low enough health that I could put off 3 shots and kill him before he could shoot back at me. Autoloaders excel at being able to track and keep tanks tracked. I noticed the 60 TP was distracted by the 430U that peeked out. With his turret looking the other way, I put my last shot in. Now you see me using the 20 kilometers an hour reverse speed to try and get out of the danger there. I'm mid-reload, so I can't really shoot back the 277, and there really wasn't a whole lot of cover for me to go to. So instead, what I do is I went up against that rubble and I just pushed up against it, trying to minimize the profile that the 277 had to look at me and aim. Once it became fully loaded again, I went out there and I put 2 shots successfully into the 277. I was hoping to try and track it again and put all 4 shots in, but it didn't work. Once I became reloaded and my tracks were repaired, I got out of that situation really quickly, because I was still reloading and I didn't have any support there to help me and cover me while I'm reloading. So instead, I go farther south through the warehouse and I catch the Foch 155 unaware, and because I have the his back to me, I'm able to put 3 rounds into him successfully. This shot bounces off the King Dragon. This goes to show that the aim time of the tank is pretty abysmal there, and if you don't fully aim in, more than likely your shot is going to miss, or it will hit the target, just not in the spot you're aiming at. Again, I'm communicating with my team that I'm reloading. You'll also notice that there'll be times where I'm communicating as soon as I start the reload, and then I'm giving my team an update midway through the reload, telling them how much time I have left until I'm up and ready to go again. Again, communicating with your team as an autoloader is a very, very important part of playing an autoloader. So your team knows when you're up and ready to go. You notice that our team light tank stopped the light tank from sneaking up behind me. That was great. Now that I'm fully loaded, and I noticed that the 60 TP and the 277 both fired their shots, I just rolled out of cover, dealt with the 277, and then I put the other shots into the 60 TP. The 60 TP was distracted by another tank, so I didn't hesitate to stick out again and put in a side shot, killing the 60 TP. I'm now reloading, and I'm going wide because I don't exactly know what type of angle the VK100 is would have on me, so I'm just going to hang back and let myself reload here while the light tanks keep him spotted. I noticed that the VK100 dug himself into a spot where I could get shots on him, and it'd be pretty hard for him to shoot back at me. I put 2 shots in successfully. He rolls out of cover to put a shot into me. I'm not going to hesitate to back up. I'm just going to take the shot because I know I have the health to deal with it. I'm just going to finish him off. I'm now reloading again. You see me communicating. Again, communication is very important. I cannot stress this enough. And now I'm just sitting there waiting for the reload. And I'm going to push in on the E100 because all we have left on my team is 2 light tanks and a medium tank. And for all I know, they might become incapable of dealing with the E100. So I'm going to rush in as fast as I can to assist my team in dealing with the E100. I'm fully loaded. I come in from the left because I assumed it was the quickest route. Luckily, the E100 was distracted, and I just put in the shots there on the E100's turret. I don't want to risk a bounce off the tracks. And it's just, I just can put all 4 shots into the E100 because he's not looking at me. As you can see here, it was a victory. I actually walk away here with over 9,000 damage totally dealt. I walk away with a high caliber sniper medal, a top gun, and I even secure an ace tanker medal for the AMX 50B. And that concludes today's video on how to play the AMX 50B. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and if you liked the video, hit that thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Please feel free to also give your thoughts on the video as well as any tanks that you'd like to see done specifically in the comments, as I'm always looking for feedback. I'd also like to take the time to thank all the people who have taken the time to assist me with the video, as their help has been invaluable to me. Anyway, this has been Darren of WotC Academy.